Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next hour. At the CARICOM-India Summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi proposes comprehensive partnership with Caribbean nations, redefines CARICOM from capacity building to cricket. India and Guyana strengthen partnership through series of agreements, ink MoUs in the field of health, hydrocarbons, agriculture, digital payments and pharmaceuticals. And the 55th edition of the International Film Festival of India opens with a glittering ceremony in Goa. Prasar Bharati launches an OTT platform called Waves. In the final leg of his three-nation visit, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Guyana in the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister there in over 50 years. Prime Minister Modi co-chaired the second India-CARICOM Summit alongside President Ali and Grenadian Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, discussing collaborative opportunities with Caribbean nations. PM Modi said, India has always tried to face global challenges along with CARICOM. He added that Caribbean nations can work on training women cricketers in India. CARICOM heads of government and India's Prime Minister last met in 2019 at the margins of the 74th session of United Nations General Assembly, where they discussed cooperation modalities in renewable energy and climate change through a $150 million credit line from India.
क्रिकेट हमारे देशों के बीच एक बहुत बड़ा और महत्वपूर्ण कनेक्टिंग लिंक है। इस वर्ष आपके यहाँ हुए T20 वर्ल्ड कप से भारतीय क्रिकेट फैंस का कैरेबियन की ओर आकर्षण और भी बढ़ा है। और यह मैं सिर्फ इसलिए नहीं कह रहा हूँ क्योंकि भारत ने ये विश्व कप जीता था। मेरा प्रस्ताव है कि क्रिकेट संबंधों के साथ साथ महिला सशक्तिकरण को बढ़ावा देने के लिए हम कैरिकॉम के हर देश से 11 युवा महिला क्रिकेटर्स की भारत में ट्रेनिंग कर सकते हैं।
And Prime Minister Modi gave a new definition to the CARICOM, focusing on capacity building, agriculture, food security, renewable energy, cricket and culture and medicine. Prime Minister stressed that India has put a proposal of opening Jan Aushadhi Kendra in the Caribbean nations.
कैरिकॉम देशों की स्वास्थ्य सुरक्षा भारत के लिए उच्च प्राथमिकता का विषय रहा है। भारत में सामान्य मानवी को क्वालिटी एंड अफोर्डेबल हेल्थ केयर प्रदान करने के लिए जन औषधि केंद्र खोले हैं। मेरा प्रस्ताव है कि हम इस मॉडल पर कैरिकॉम के सभी देशों में जन औषधि केंद्र खोल सकते हैं। भारत और सभी देशों के बीच फार्माकोपिया को मान्यता देने के लिए समझौता संपन्न किया जाए तो इस प्रयास को गति ला सकते हैं।
During India-CARICOM Summit, Guyana President Dr. Irfan Ali thanked Prime Minister Modi for his selfless attributes during COVID times. He added that between India and Caribbean are deeply rooted, shared history and enduring cultural connections.
Having collectively this occasion to meet you face to face for the first time since COVID, to thank you and the people of India for your selfless attributes when you delivered to this region our first set of vaccines during the COVID pandemic. Under your visionary leadership, India has an influential voice in the international community. Your launching of the Voice of the Global South, your recent chairmanship of the Group of 20, India's pivotal role in BRICS, and your steadfast advocacy for the developing world underscores your commitment to advancing the aspirations of the Global South. These initiatives have elevated India's stature and placed the concerns of developing nations, including the small island developing and low-lying coastal states of the Caribbean, firmly on the global agenda.
In a boost to the long-standing developmental partnership with Guyana in the field of health, connectivity, renewable power and water, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held delegation-level talks with Guyana President Mohammad Irfan Ali in Georgetown on Wednesday. The leaders discussed bilateral cooperation in various fields, including trade and investment, exchanged views on global and regional matters. India and Guyana have taken significant steps to strengthen partnership through a series of agreements spanning key sectors. Both the leaders witnessed signing an exchange of 10 MoUs. In the healthcare sector, the Central Drug Standard Control Organization, CDSCO, and Guyana Drug Regulatory Authority have signed an MoU to ensure cooperation in the regulation of medical products. An MoU between Ministries of Petroleum and Natural Gas and Natural Resources of Guyana will enhance collaboration across the hydrocarbon sector. Agriculture also received a boost with an MoU focused on collaboration in farming and allied sectors, paving way for innovation and growth in food security. MoU for a cultural exchange program from 2024 to 2027 signed India's digital payment system, Unified Payment Interface, that's UPI, and RuPay are set to expand into Guyana through a commercial arrangement, advancing digital financial inclusion. Additionally, a partnership in the field of pharmaceuticals aims to promote affordable generic medicines, further enhancing healthcare accessibility. MoU between CDSCO and Ministry of Health of Guyana on cooperation in the field of medical products, India-STAC MoU on cooperation in the field of sharing successful digital solutions implemented at population scale for digital transformation. MoU on a collaboration in the field of broadcasting between Prasar Bharati and National Communications Network, Guyana, was also signed. An MoU between NDI, that's National Defence Institute, Guyana, and RRU, Rashtriya Raksha University, Gujarat, was also signed. Addressing the press meet, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi thanked President of Guyana, Dr. Ali, for the grand welcome. PM Modi said that both nations have identified multiple new initiatives to strengthen relations. He said close defence cooperation reflects the deep mutual trust between the two countries.
हम दोनों देशों के कृषि अनुसंधान संस्थानों के बीच सहयोग बढ़ाने पर भी सहमत हुए। कृषि के क्षेत्र में आज किए जा रहे MoU से हमारे प्रयासों को बल मिलेगा। भारत फार्मा प्रोडक्ट्स के लिए गयाना का महत्वपूर्ण स्रोत है। हम फार्मा एक्सपोर्ट्स बढ़ाने के साथ-साथ गयाना में जन औषधि केंद्र बनाने पर भी काम करेंगे।
Prime Minister Modi also said India's energy security will play an important role. He stressed that to increase trade and mutual cooperation, both nations will continually make efforts.
भारत की एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी में गयाना की अहम भूमिका होगी। इस संदर्भ में लॉन्ग टर्म पार्टनरशिप के लिए एक खाका तैयार किया जाएगा। इस विषय पर आज किए जा रहे MoU से हमारा सहयोग और सुदृढ़ होगा। मुझे खुशी है कि गयाना भारत द्वारा लिए गए इंटरनेशनल सोलर अलायंस, कोएलिशन फॉर डिजास्टर रेजिलिएंट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, ग्लोबल बायोफ्यूल अलायंस जैसे इनिशिएटिव से जुड़ा हुआ है। इससे हम पूरे विश्व में ग्रीन और सस्टेनेबल फ्यूचर की ओर बढ़ने के प्रयासों को सशक्त कर सकेंगे।
Prime Minister Modi also lauded President Dr. Irfan Ali's efforts in recognizing Indian traditions and culture. He also thanked the Indian community in Guyana for making strides in several sectors.
180 वर्ष पहले भारत से यहाँ आए लोगों ने हमारे संबंधों की आधारशिला रखी है। राष्ट्रपति इरफान अली स्वयं भारतीय समुदाय के बहुत बड़े ब्रांड एम्बेसडर हैं। जिस धूमधाम से यहाँ फगवा का पर्व मनाया जाता है वह भारत और गयाना की संस्कृतियों के अद्भुत संगम को दर्शाता है। इस तरह के अनेक उदाहरण गयाना में कदम कदम पर दिखाई पड़ते हैं। आज हम दोनों देशों के बीच 2027 तक कल्चरल एक्सचेंज एग्रीमेंट पर सहमति बनी है। इससे हमारे पीपल टू पीपल टाइज और मजबूत होंगे।
Addressing the press meet following the exchange of MoUs, Guyana's President Mohammad Irfan Ali said India's expertise in the field of vaccine urban development will be part of cooperation between the two nations.
We are also pursuing having vaccine manufacturing here in Guyana to serve all of the region. India is a giant in this field, and that presents tremendous opportunity for us here in Guyana, and this will be part of the collaboration. Urban development, as our development continue to advance and expand, urban development is important. India again has tremendous expertise in urban planning and development, and they will be lending that expertise to Guyana as we seek to advance our own development here. The innovation, digitization, technology transfer, those are key elements of what we are going to work on. The transfer of technology, the rolling out of our own 2030 digitization plan to improve governance, efficiency, reliability, the advancement in our healthcare system, focusing on telemedicine. Those are also areas that are key to India development, in which they have mastered the art of providing these services, and we will be beneficiary of those services.
President Ali added that India can further support Guyana in the field of food security, agriculture and research.
Guyana and the regional development that will further expand our cooperation in these areas. For example, in food security, India's support in advancing our rice industry through technology, innovation, and research. India has also committed to supporting us in our sugar industry, not only from an infrastructure perspective, but also from a human resource and technical perspective. They will support us in expanding our corn, soya, and looking at wheat farming and production here in Guyana, food processing, and important to all of this is research and development.
India's Prime Minister and President of Guyana planted a sapling in Georgetown under Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam initiative celebrating motherhood. In a very special gesture, President of Guyana was accompanied by his grandmother and mother-in-law. Guyana will confer its highest national award, the Order of Excellence, on Prime Minister Modi. So will Barbados, that will confer its Honorary Order of Freedom of Barbados on Prime Minister Modi. Dominica has announced its highest national award, the Dominica Award of Honor, on Prime Minister Modi a few days ago. And economic and trade relations between India and Guyana are structured through Indo-Guyana Joint Commission. Total trade between India and Guyana in 2020-21 amounted to about $46 million. It was a significant increase of 46% over the previous year. Indian exports to Guyana stood at $35.69 million, while India's imports from Guyana being about $11.2 million. India's single largest export item is pharmaceuticals, while single largest import from Guyana is usually wood and wooden products. India helped Guyana when COVID pandemic wreaked havoc in various parts of the world. India donated 80,000 doses of Covishield to Guyana on 7th March 2021 under a Vaccine Maitri initiative. India also donated $1 million to Guyana in 2020 under India-UN Development Partnership Fund to upgrade its critical healthcare infrastructure to combat COVID pandemic. It helped them to procure over 34 ventilators, thousands of protection equipment and emergency care medicines, among other equipments. India provided 30,000 hydroxychloroquine tablets to Guyana last year as a gesture of goodwill in support of its fight against COVID-19. India also funded $500,000 to prevent teenage pregnancy in Guyana in coordination with UNFPA. And still to come on DD India News Hour. The US shuts its embassy in Ukraine, citing threat of air attack. Putin aide warns the West against a direct military confrontation. Hong Kong's pro-democracy tycoon Jimmy Lai testifies for the first time in a landmark trial. And President Putin of Russia gives zoo animals, including lion and bear, to a zoo in North Korea.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. The Ukraine-Russia conflict remains a focal point of global concern. The US support to Ukraine for striking deep into Russian territory has heightened tensions. The next report tells us more.
It's been more than 1,000 days since the Russia-Ukraine conflict began dominating global discourse. Amid growing fears of escalation, the US Embassy temporarily closed operations in Ukraine's capital city, Kyiv, after receiving specific intelligence about a potential significant air attack. This development follows the United States' decision to allow Ukraine to strike targets deep inside Russia using American-made weapons. Ukraine recently targeted a Russian weapons arsenal in the Bryansk region with attack missiles or the Army tactical missile systems, marking the first time these missiles were fired across the border. The Biden administration's significant policy shift prompted a response from Russian President Vladimir Putin, who on Tuesday signed a decree expanding the circumstances under which Moscow could use nuclear weapons against a non-nuclear state, if that state is supported by nuclear powers. The US has not adjusted its nuclear posture in response to Russia's updated doctrine. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and his advisors are preparing for the possibility of a second Trump presidency, as the candidate has expressed criticism of US aid to Kyiv in the past. Bureau Report, DD India.
And Russian President Vladimir Putin's spy chief has warned the West on Wednesday that it risks disastrous consequences if the US and its European allies stoke a direct military confrontation with Russia over Ukraine. Sergei Nashkin, the head of Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service, says Russia would punish any NATO member that helps Ukraine strike deep into Russia with long-range Western weapons. With Russian forces advancing in Ukraine, Moscow says it will achieve all its aims, including demilitarization of Ukraine. But Ukraine has downplayed the threat of an imminent large-scale missile threat after several foreign embassies in Kiev closed for a day, citing potential strike. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky told a US television channel that he fears that he might lose the war against Russia.
If they will cut, I think we will lose. Of course, anyway, we will stay, we will fight. We have our production, but it's not enough to prevail. And I think it's not enough to survive. But that will be, if such choice will be American choice, so we will decide what we will have to do.
We now return to our top story, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's three-nation visit. Prime Minister is in Guyana, Georgetown at present. He attended the CARICOM Summit. DD India correspondent Siddharth Bharadwaj joins us live from Georgetown for more. Siddharth, expansive partnership between India and the Caribbean nation, the CARICOM Summit. Prime Minister gives a new definition to the abbreviation as a whole. We try to connect to my colleague Siddharth Bharadwaj, who is joining us from Georgetown. Siddharth, the partnership between India and Caribbean nation is set to make a new chapter with Prime Minister's visit, as he talks about the new definition of the abbreviation. All right, we will continue to try and connect with Siddharth. Okay, I think Siddharth is connected with us. Siddharth, can you hear me now? Right. Siddharth, if you could take us through the manner in which the multifaceted relations between India and the Caribbean nation is being taken forward during Prime Minister's visit.
Yeah, Shubhendu. Definitely, Shubhendu. I would like to say, first of all, that this is a very crucial partnership between India and CARICOM. Because CARICOM, which comprises of 15 member states, has, it has a unified voice, especially in global institutions like the United Nations. So together, India and CARICOM will certainly, amplify their voice when it comes to, global issues, and also will back each other in sustainable development goals. And this summit today, which is the second India-CARICOM Summit, is very crucial. As a matter of fact, this is happening for the first time that India-CARICOM Summit is happening in a CARICOM member state, which is Guyana. Like I was just mentioning, Shubhendu, the partnership is very crucial between both India and CARICOM, and today Prime Minister Narendra Modi has extended, many things, extended the cooperation to CARICOM, and in fact in many areas, ranging from healthcare to renewable energy to space to women empowerment. He said many things, which certainly goes on to show that how India is keen to strengthen its partnership with CARICOM, and it's vice versa as well. With India's expertise in renewable energy, India's expertise in many sectors, including space, will certainly benefit CARICOM. For example, in fact, as a matter of fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also, took example of cricket, and he also said that cricket is something which is, which unites both countries, both India and CARICOM. And he also said that, taking forward the women empowerment, India will, train 11 women cricketers from every CARICOM nation. This goes on to show that how India, is focusing on women empowerment. And on the other hand, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also said that, India will aim to make one solar building in every CARICOM nation. India's focus towards renewable energy and sustainable development goals is certainly visible here, Shubhendu. As a matter of fact, if I tell you, India's renewable energy goals, it's enhancing the renewable capacity by 500 gigawatts, also becoming net zero by 2070, and also, reducing, the carbon by 1 billion metric tons, by 2030. So these are some of the things which goes on to show that how India is focusing on renewable energy and sustainable development goals. And same as CARICOM. it is also transitioning towards the renewable energy goal. So both have, when you have a common goal, it's very easy to collaborate, especially in this particular sector. Apart from the fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also said that when it comes to healthcare, this remains India's first priority, and assistance to CARICOM, including cancer screening and diabetes diagnosis, also machine. Apart from that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also emphasized the importance of yoga, Shubhendu, and he said that yoga is something which is beneficial in curing many diseases, and India is also planning to send yoga teachers, in fact, to the CARICOM nations. So all in all, this is a very crucial partnership which will expand India's presence in the Caribbean, and also as far as the CARICOM is concerned, that they will also have they will also benefit from India's expertise in various sectors, Shubhendu.
That's right. A host of new areas at the heart of cooperation between India and Guyana and the Caribbean nations, of course. Also, this is the first visit in half a century by an Indian Prime Minister, made all the more historic with the awards, the highest awards of Guyana, Barbados being conferred on Prime Minister. If you could tell us a little more about it.
Definitely, it goes on to show, Shubhendu, that how Prime Minister Narendra Modi, is gaining popularity in the entire world on a global map. The world sees him as a global leader, and this is a mark of respect for the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is visiting, Guyana for the first time, and this is a visit by any Indian Prime Minister after 56 years, to be very precise, after 1968. It's the first time that an Indian Prime Minister is coming to Guyana. So, it certainly goes on to show that how India and Guyana are keen to strengthen their partnership in, wide range of sectors like healthcare and infrastructure, defense as well, education as well. In fact, the collaboration is already going on in many sectors. Today, some MoUs were also signed, exchange between both India and Guyana, ranging from hydrocarbons to health to agriculture as well. I was also saying it yesterday, Shubhendu, that if this hydrocarbon MoU will be exchanged, then it will be very beneficial for both the countries, especially when it comes to energy sector, as both the countries will mutually benefit in the energy sector. Economic development will take place as well for both the countries, and hydrocarbon, which comprises of oil, natural gas, and oil related products, will certainly benefit India. In terms of that, India is now eyeing to diversify its energy sources, which will reduce its dependence on all the nations, in fact, and regions from it already imports oil. Apart from the very fact that it will also strengthen India's energy security, and it will also benefit Guyana in many ways. It was potential economic development for Guyana, because India being a stable oil market for Guyana will certainly help Guyana, and apart from that, it will open new avenues for joint venture for both the countries, in terms of research and production. I already told you that India having an expertise in renewable energy sector and oil sector as well, it will certainly give a boost to Guyana's economy, and also further strengthen partnership between both the countries, the trade between both the countries. If I tell you a little bit about the stats between both the countries in terms of trade, Shubhendu, then if I tell you about 2021-22 trade figures, then it's somewhere around $223.3 US million, which is a significant increment in terms of numbers.
Right,
and this particular trade, the numbers will certainly grow in the future, as both the countries continue to strengthen their partnership. So certainly this is a very significant visit by Indian Prime Minister, and definitely it's Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision for prosperous growth for both India and Guyana, which will flourish this partnership in near future as well, Shubhendu.
Siddharth, thank you for joining us with those updates from Georgetown, Guyana. Moving on, US President-elect Donald Trump is forging ahead with his cabinet selections, policy plans, and his transition gains momentum from healthcare reform to economic strategies. Trump's latest announcements promise a mix of continuity and innovation. Nupur Praveen gets us more.
US President-elect Donald Trump isn't just building a cabinet. He's assembling a cast for what promises to be a headline-making presidency. Donald Trump has tapped celebrity doctor Mehmet Oz, a Turkish-American doctor, to lead the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Service. an agency that is responsible for the healthcare of millions of Americans. Dr. Oz transitioned from cardiothoracic surgery to television fame via The Oprah Winfrey Show and his 13-season Emmy-winning show, The Dr. Oz Show. Oz is another addition to the unconventional health team after Trump tabbed Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as Secretary of Department of Health and Human Services. Together they will target what Trump calls the illness industrial complex. The billionaire co-founder of World Wrestling Entertainment, Linda McMahon, has been appointed as Education Secretary in the new Trump administration. She is a long-time Trump supporter and brings loyalty and experience to the role. She is also the co-chair of Trump's transition team. Trump has chosen Howard Lutnick, CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, to lead the Commerce Department. Lutnick shares Trump's vision of bringing back manufacturing jobs and integrating cryptocurrency into US economic policy. Trump also joined his closest ally at the moment, Elon Musk, on Tuesday at SpaceX's latest Starship test launch in Texas, signaling interest in space exploration. Meanwhile, in New York, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office has delayed sentencing in Trump's hush money case, giving prosecutors time to counter his expected dismissal motion. This marks another legal hurdle for the president-elect. From reshaping healthcare to rethinking the economy, Donald Trump's transition is as controversial as it is ambitious. As January approaches, the world is watching to see how these bold choices will define his presidency. Nupur Praveen for DD India.
Jailed Hong Kong media tycoon Jimmy Lai defended his newspaper, Apple Daily, as a strong advocate for democracy and freedom during his national security trial on Wednesday. Lai stated that the core values of the newspaper, such as the rule of law, democracy, freedom of speech, religion and assembly, reflect the principles held by the people of Hong Kong, while Beijing slammed Lai as an agent and lackey of anti-China forces. The Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Jian said Lai is the main plotter and participant of the anti-China chaos in Hong Kong. The case centers around articles in the newspaper that supported huge, sometimes violent pro-democracy protests in 2019 and criticized Beijing's leadership. The 76-year-old has been imprisoned for nearly 4 years and could face a life sentence. A Russian government delegate, Alexander Kozlov, met North Korean officials in Pyongyang on Tuesday. During the visit, both the countries discussed bilateral cooperation across different fields, including trade, economy, science and technology. The meeting came after South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol at the G20 summit in Rio de Janeiro urged the two countries to end their military cooperation, which is taking part in Russia-Ukraine conflict. Russia, meanwhile, transferred over 70 animals on Wednesday, including an African lion, 2 brown bears, and a zoo in the North Korean capital Pyongyang from Moscow Zoo. The animals were a gift from Russian President Putin to the Korean people. A court in Pakistan granted bail to jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan in a case relating to illegal sale of state gifts, his party informed on Wednesday. Cricketer turned politician has been in prison since August 2023. It was not immediately clear if the embattled politician would be released, given that he faces a number of other charges as well, including inciting violence against the state. However, ruling Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz Party says Imran Khan lacked bail in cases in which he is charged with planning riots by his supporters in the wake of his arrest in May last year. Former Prime Minister Khan denies any wrongdoing and alleges that all the cases registered against him are politically motivated. Pakistan's military said on Wednesday that a suicide attack in northwest Pakistan killed 12 soldiers. The military informed following a separate clash that left 8 dead in the same region bordering Afghanistan. The army further added that 6 militants died in an exchange of fire between them and soldiers right before the suicide attack in Banu. Let's now turn to other stories making news around the world. A baby eagle has hatched in Philippines with the help of artificial insemination. The baby eagle is under observation after it hatched on 11th November, sparking hope that the critically endangered species can be saved from extinction. A video footage shows chick number 30 hatching out of its shell at the newly opened National Bird Breeding Sanctuary in the southern city of Davao. Uganda's opposition politician Kizza Besigye was kidnapped from Kenya and transferred to Uganda this weekend. His wife posted a message on the social media platform X on Wednesday, informing about his whereabouts at a military jail in Kampala. Besigye has run against Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni in 4 elections and lost each time, although he has rejected the results, alleging fraud and voter intimidation. The International Criminal Court sentenced Mali police officials to 10 years in jail for crimes against humanity committed in the city of Timbuktu. He was convicted in June for crimes including torture when he was member of the feared Ansar Deen Islamist militant group that seized control of Timbuktu for almost a year from early 2012. A white blanket of snow enveloped the Swiss Jura Mountains on Wednesday, marking the season's first snowfall. Swiss weather forecast is expecting 40 centimeters of snow in the region on Thursday. Moving on, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is in Lao PDR for the 11th ASEAN Defence Ministers meeting. Plus, it is the highest defence consultative and cooperative mechanism in ASEAN. Addressing the Indian community there, the minister said, after 2014, India's stature has grown in the forum.
इंटरनेशनल कम्युनिटी में भारत का स्टेचर बढ़ा है। पहले भारत इंटरनेशनल फोरम पर कुछ बोलता था तो भारत की बातों को जितनी सीरियसली लिया जाना चाहिए, जितनी गंभीरतापूर्वक लिया जाना चाहिए, नहीं लिया जाता था। लेकिन आज इंटरनेशनल फोरम पर भारत कुछ बोलता है तो सारी दुनिया कान खोलकर सुनती है कि भारत बोल क्या रहा है। यह भारत की यह कोई छोटी बात नहीं है। अब हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर का सम्मान यदि दुनिया के देश में होता है, इसका मतलब प्राइम मिनिस्टर जिस कंट्री का प्राइम मिनिस्टर है उस कंट्री का सम्मान हो रहा है।
On the sidelines of the talks, the minister met his Chinese counterpart. It was the first such meeting following the recent disengagement agreements and the meeting of Prime Minister Modi and Chinese President Jinping on the sidelines of the BRICS summit. Rajnath Singh highlighted that amicable relations between India and China would have positive implications for global peace and prosperity. Considering that both countries are and will continue to remain neighbors, he said that they need to focus on cooperation rather than conflict. Minister Singh also met counterparts from Malaysia and Lao PDR. In his meeting with Malaysian minister, both sides agreed to support one another's endeavors to arrive at meaningful outcomes to promote security and stability in the region. Rajnath Singh complimented Lao PDR for its efficient and inclusive leadership as the chair of ASEAN this year. These meetings are aimed at further enhancing bilateral defense cooperation with these countries. And now, updates from Day 2 of Sanyukt Vimochan 2024. The Indian Army is conducting the annual exercise with friendly foreign countries at Porbandar on India's western coast. The year's theme is Cyclone in coastal region of Gujarat. In an exercise simulating a cyclone, choppers, inflatable boats, sniffer dogs and drones all pitched in to ensure synergy. DD India's Nandita Dagar reports.
Vimochan 2024. This is the annual humanitarian assistance and disaster relief exercise which is being led by the army, and it is aimed at improving the synergy and coordination between various agencies, which includes the Navy, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, the State Disaster Response Force, the local weather departments, police, etc., the district administration, in providing succor to the people in in the wake of a cyclone. So here there is a simulation of a very, very severe cyclone on the western coast of India between Porbandar and Okha, in the coastal state of Gujarat. And that is how the army is demonstrating. The navy has pressed in its assets, including the Coast Guard. The army has deployed bridges like the Sarvatra and Bailey bridges, set up mobile hospitals or hospitals on wheels, a joint command and control center. The Air Force has winched up survivors on the rooftops of houses with the help of winching on a B-17, B-5 helicopter. The survivors are also being zip-lined from a building they were stranded on. Also, Gemini boats of the State Disaster Response Force are transferring the casualties from these affected areas via the sea to the Navy's hospital ship Talwar, because the area has been cut off, and of course there are no roads and bridges or routes to this place. So this is the entire scenario, the simulation, and all made in India assets are being deployed here. For example, the helipad for the Mi-17 and ALH helicopters is a polymer helipad which has been made completely in India. The drones that have been deployed for surveillance, the Drishti remotely piloted aircraft, that is made in India. So several assets are made in India in this exercise, Sanyukt Vimochan, and 10 partner-friendly countries have also sent representatives, and they are also witnessing the exercise. With camera person Jagmohan Pradhan in Porbandar in Gujarat, this is Nandita Dagar for DD India.
Prasar Bharati, India's public broadcaster, has launched its own OTT platform, Waves, offering a broad spectrum of entertainment and news content, as reported by ET Brand Equity. The app is now available for download on Android and iOS devices. The platform aims to cater to a wide audience with its mix of live channels, movies, TV shows, games, live events, and more.
The 55th edition of the International Film Festival of Goa kicked off in grand style with the launch of many firsts and new initiatives in order to cater the global cinema market. And in a significant development for the Indian digital media landscape, Prasar Bharati's much-awaited OTT platform went live during IFFI with its official launch at the prestigious International Festival.
As the audiences have discovered the newer media of consuming content, digital is one medium which has gained quite a lot of prominence in these days and times. So it is only fitting that Prasar Bharati also forays into this domain. And one of the advantages of this would be also that the content would be available to all audiences, even if they are in the remotest parts of the country or even outside the country. There is a lot of demand for Indian content across the board, across the world. The Indian settlers in various countries also remember their times here in India through these programs. And of course, they want to keep updated with the news, with the entertainment of Indian origin. We will also be making provisions for sharing some of the informative content that is being produced by the ministries of Government of India, by various state governments, and some rare archival material of photographs, of magazines and journals and e-books. We would also be providing facilities for e-games. So, e-shopping, which is also gaining a lot of prominence these days, is also going to be a part of Waves. So there is something for everyone, and I would request the audiences to download Waves later today and be a part of this experience of this entertainment की नई लहर.
दूरदर्शन तो हमारे खून में था, अब वेव हमारी सांसों में होगा. मतलब अच्छी बात है. इनसे सारी चीज़ें बहुत जगह सिनेमा पहुंचती हैं.
Prasar Bharati's OTT platform is poised to offer a diverse range of content, including live channels, archival footage, and original programming to the audience. The platform also focuses on family-friendly content, aiming to provide a wholesome viewing experience for audiences of all ages. Talking about the benefits of content creators, interestingly, the content creator will retain the IP rights. The OTT platform further aims at creating a marketplace to showcase its vast archive of over 2,000 titles, including a treasure trove of heritage photos. Deepika Mehto's report for DD India.
This is a preview file.
The 55th edition of India International Film Festival in the picturesque Goa began. Cinema lovers have already queued outside the theatres to catch the opening film of IFFI 2024, The Better Man. Watch this detailed report by DD India correspondent Deepika.
The 55th edition of IFFI opened with grand style in Goa, showcasing a rich landscape of cinema and culture. Speaking on the occasion, the Chief Minister expressed his delight on continuing the legacy of hosting IFFI in Goa.
IFFI और गोवा एक दूसरे के हो गए। कोई गोवा को याद करता है तो IFFI याद आती है और IFFI को याद करता है तो गोवा आ जाता है। हमेशा के लिए IFFI ने गोवा को बहुत कुछ दिया। तो ग्लोबल प्लेटफॉर्म पे ये गोवा को पहुंचाया है। इतना सारा अच्छा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर यहाँ पे क्रिएट किया है और ऑलवेज आई वेलकम्स द इंटरनेशनल एंड नेशनल guests, those who are coming specially for this IFFI, especially the directors, actors, actresses, those who are coming to see the movies, to see the IFFI.
जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच नागेंद्र हाराय त्रिलोचनाय भस्मांगरागाय महेश्वराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगंबराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय करुणी वंदन किदा मांडून देवाला किदा गावाला किदा पाटाला किदा मंडळीला आम्ही सांगतो नमन तुम्ही ऐका हो कोणी जन पयल नमन आम्ही करीतो वंदन पयल नमन करीतो वंदन तुम्ही ऐका हो कोणी जन आम्ही करीतो कथन पयल नमन पयल
The Minister of Information and Broadcasting, Ashwini Vaishnaw, shared his thoughts through a video message.
I welcome all the delegates from across the world to the IFFI 2024. Friends, IFFI, as we call it, has become a very important milestone in the development of film industry in India. We in India at this point of time are very much focused on developing the content creators economy. We have a very vibrant creators economy where people are coming up with very innovative content, showcasing some of the rich heritage of India, the cuisines of India, the culture of India, some of the gems of Indian language and literature are being presented by the content creators in very interesting ways. So we believe that with the addition of technology and the development of the creators ecosystem, India can play a major role in the way the creators economy is shaping up. We welcome you all to this edition of IFFI, and we hope that your stay in Goa will be very interesting. We hope that you will find new partnerships and develop new ideas here. We hope that some of the youngsters will get mentors. We hope also that many of the ideas that you share with us will help us shape the direction of the industry in the coming years. Thank you very much. Wish you all the very best.
The Secretary to the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting spoke on the importance of the event and how IFFI is adding more to the world.
IFFI is a great medium for us to take this content outside. And when it comes to Film Bazaar, the idea is that the future is now.
Absolutely.
This festival is actually dedicated to the young filmmakers. And the idea was to get the young filmmakers the right market. And that's why the Film Bazaar is a huge property this year.
Yes.
We have close to 1,600 entries.
That's incredible.
And some of these are at the initial stage, story stage, co-production stage. All these movies are now on offer for somebody to co-produce. A lot of people have come from world over. Plus we also have the Creative Minds of Tomorrow, where 100 finally selected entries have now come here to IFFI to show their wares. And that's again a huge promise that these guys have for our future. So cinema is definitely being given out to the next generation in a befitting manner is our point. Yes. When it comes to Film Bazaar.
Prasar Bharati, who's the official broadcaster of IFFI, made special arrangements to make this event look grand and accessible to each part of the country. Red carpet always remains the main attraction of IFFI, and this time around, the event was passed with a walk-in of not only just the celebrated stars from across the world, but also young and creative minds, debutantes, and female filmmakers in large numbers. Apart from that, the event also witnessed a special act by the country of focus, Australia, to touch the historical perspective. A special performance by Sunny Kaushal and Sania Malhotra enthralled the spectators that showcased the journey of Indian cinema. And the 55th edition of International Film Festival of India, IFFI 2024, kick-started with grand celebrations, great interactions with mega stars, and the peak of celebration of Indian cinema with the world. With camera person Alok, this is Deepika reporting for DD India.
That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan this QR code on your screens to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.